Massive thank you to Jack, Gherkin, Matt, James and Sparks for subscribing to the channel. If you're already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 17 of Season 5 of our F1 22 My Team Career Mode. Yes, this weekend we're back at Suzuka, the Japanese Grand Prix just ahead of us. Of course, if you missed out on the last video from Singapore, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. Of course, still, you know, we'll be doing our own thing in this championship. 6 races to go, including this weekend. 72 points back from Charles Leclerc. We're just enjoying ourselves. We've got, what, a 75-point lead over Esteban Ocon behind me. So we are in so much no man's land. It is absolutely unbelievable there. 104 points clear in the Constructors over Ferrari there. Leclerc extending his gap over Lando Norris to 11 points after last weekend's Grand Prix. But, of course, yeah, Suzuka, one of the best tracks on the calendar. Of course, one of the most historic tracks as well. Over 30 years of racing now around the iconic circuit. Let's get into it. Japanese Grand Prix time. As always, we'll jump straight in with qualifying. Well, I think it's been quite well documented on F1 22. AI around Japan is still a little bit broken. I don't know what Codemaster's problem is with this circuit, but they never quite seem to be able to get it right. Whether it's some ridiculous bumps, whether it's really inaccurate times, I don't really know. But yeah, they're certainly very, very good over one lap, the AI, still around this circuit. They're just able to carry so much speed through the S's early on in the lap. But we've got 2 runs in Q3. Top times look to be down in towards the 126s, so I think that's the times we got to aim for. Down in towards the Casio triangle then to finish off my first lap. Just try and get the car dialed in nicely at the final turn. So difficult to try and put the power down out there. Need to short shift all the way into 5th gear. Shortest run to the line, 27.5 even. Leclerc's not had a great run either. We're down on the 3rd row of the grid provisionally. How many times have we seen this season when our teammate just can't quite get the lap hooked up there? Had a few issues with it with George Russell in the past, if I remember correctly. But let's see what we can do then here in our final Q3 run. Sergio Perez currently on the pole. The Mexican, I'm sure, wanted to end this season on a high with his Red Bull organisation. Let's see if we can get any closer. We're just finding a little bit of time here, but really not much to make a big difference as we head through 130R. Of course, completely flat out. Whether the AI will or not is a very different question. Casio triangle. Just try and get the car tucked in there, get it over the curb. And this is definitely where we can make a couple of tenths up towards the line, but we're not going to do it. 10.5 improvement leaves us P6. No further places gained. Look at that for a mighty tight qualifying session then. 4 cars, 4 different teams covered by just half a tenth at the end of qualifying there. Perez takes the pole there. Lando Norris has got a big opportunity to try and take some points out of Charles in the World Championship there. We line up in P6 though, ready for the Grand Prix. We've got a big gap to Felipe Drugovich behind us. Let's see what we can do in the race.
We come to you live today from the Mie Prefecture in the south of Japan's Honshu Island for a race that has seen many title deciders over the years. Some simple, some controversial, but all contributing to a legacy that makes the Japanese Grand Prix an indispensable stop in any Formula One season. 18 corners make up a lap of the incredible figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit, with 10 to the right and 8 to the left, for a distance of 3.6 miles. Average lap speeds around here are fairly quick. If it stays dry, then expect somewhere in the region of 136 miles per hour. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. It's Sergio Perez on pole today, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Esteban Ocon, Mr. Monaco, Drugovich, Mick Schumacher, Tsunoda, and Valtteri Bottas, Joe, Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly, and Albon, Daruvala, Yuri Vips, Daniel Ticktum, and Lance Stroll, Schwartzman, Latifi, Théo Pourchaire, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. Ant, it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, How do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Right, well here we are then, on the grid, ready for the Japanese Grand Prix, round 17 of 22. 6 races to go of this campaign, and once again, the game doesn't seem to believe that the soft medium is going to be a possible strategy here, so that's what I'm going to try and open. Well, there we go, immediately it reckons it is possible, and not only does it reckon it's possible, it also reckons it's quicker. I love F122 from time to time then. So, yeah, I reckon it's going to be about a 40-minute race, though, this weekend. I'm going to put a little bit of extra fuel in the car just in case there. But 27 laps around Suzuka. Looks like we are going to be Perez, I think, just gamble it as well. So a couple of us thinking this strategy might be doable. Let's wait and see. Right, let's do this thing then. Suzuka, Japan, an iconic Formula 1 circuit. I don't actually think I've won a race around here yet. Funnily enough, Singapore, I thought I'd won races around there before an F122, but last weekend was my first win in the small city state. But yeah, I don't think I've won a race. Oh, look at that, 0.0 on the line. Let's do this thing. Japanese Grand Prix. As you can probably tell by my voice, I still don't feel 100%. But we've got to... The show must go on. Let's do this thing. Ready then, on the grid. 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. Very, very wheel spinny there as Drogovic, Tsunoda and Mick Schumacher will all say thank you very much there. And we've even got a Red Bull of Valtteri Bottas having a look up my inside down in towards turn 1. We'll try and fight it back though on the flying fin. Whoa, careful of that curve, mate. Careful of that curve as Charles Leclerc, Esteban Ocon side by side momentarily just up in front. Looks like top 3 have stayed exactly where they were as Oscar Piastri, certainly man of the weekend based on qualifying there. P3 on the grid, half a tenth away from pole. Is a miraculous job in that AlphaTauri car there. As yeah, we have gone backwards as you would come to expect on that one. Bottas, yeah, you can show the nose there, mate, but I'm always going to turn in. And even Daniel Ricciardo in his swan song now, trying to line up a move on the Ferrari. Back up the inside of Yuki Wigo, of course, homeboy this weekend. I'm sure a bit gutted to be over a second away from his teammate come the end of qualifying, but it was a magnificent lap by Oscar there. As down in towards the final sector, Sergio Perez has kept hold of the lead. Of course, this has historically been a very, very good track for Red Bull as well. Of course, mainly thanks to Sebastian Vettel in years gone by. I'm trying to get a run then on Mick Schumacher. He's not going to defend the inside in towards 130. Are we going to see the AI lifting? I don't think Drogovic did in front of me. That's good to see then. So we get past the Alpine car there. What's happened to him since the start of the season? 2 podiums to kick off the campaign, and now I'm pretty certain has returned about once more this year. But Perez leads. We've ended up losing 1 place on lap 1. Next up is Felipe Drogovic, but we are going to have to look after the tyres as they're definitely lifting down in towards turn 1. Got to be careful of that. I think those medium tyres will definitely struggle a bit more than our softs early on to try and build up some temperature there. Purple through the final sector as we're going to try and get a run on Drogovic back down towards someone there. The Haas car trying to defend from me as best as he can there. We're accidentally going to give him quite an aggressive squeeze down at turn 1, but we have made it through. We're back to where we started then in this GP. Perhaps just putting some manners on my original teammate, of course, in this series. That feels like a really long time ago. Yeah, the AI is still lifting through 130R, and I've got no idea why. So easy flat. I mean, I could kind of understand it in like the bog standard car if you're tucked up behind someone, but these cars are so upgraded. You can pretty much do it flat out blindfolded there. As new fastest lap of the day for ourselves. Ocon, I thought was going to have the DRS there, but apparently not. So we'll fly around the outside of the Frenchman. An old nemesis there has been relegated to P6. Mark even loving that one. We don't get many positive words from him at the moment. Well, there we go. First lap under 90 seconds then in race trim. Oscar Piastri's qualifying antics, though, might have left him the hero on Saturday, but it's also meant that there's a lot of quick cars trying to find a way around him on Sunday there. If Charles Leclerc can't get by, we might have a bit of a struggle trying to get around our teammate. It's just so weird, Charles Leclerc's pace on this game. One weekend he's unstoppable, the next weekend he's pretty mediocre. It would really help if I get a slightly better run out of the final corner to really try and lean on these guys, but you can see we're closing in quite rapidly back down towards... that genuinely was not the plan there. I was waiting for Leclerc to lift, but I didn't think he'd lift that much, and I've accidentally overtaken my teammate. Well, that means Piastri is going to be a bit more vulnerable, as we can actually get the run back down towards turn 1, but thank you, Charles. I don't know if he was letting me by or what, but we're through. We're into P4. VSC, we've got a pile-up. What on earth's gone on? There's just a huge train of cars. We've got a full safety car. Loads of cars have gone round. Well, unfortunately, I can only sort of see what's happening in this Grand Prix, and it looks like one of the Williams has come together then with Pierre Gasly. Gasly's lost his wing, and just every other car behind them has steamrolled into the back of this. That is rather impressive then in this Grand Prix. Everyone losing their front wing. Will we see the Aston Martin do it? Nope, luckily he gets ghosted. So I think that's the Williams out, but a roadblock here at Suzuka. That leaves me with a bit of a dilemma then. What do we do in this race? I don't think we're going to see the AI pit, but I think we've got to bolt on a fresh set of either softs or mediums then, and then try and go, obviously, on the quicker rubber towards the flag. I think what we'll do is we'll put a set of mediums on, try and take them quite far into the afternoon, and then maybe sort of around lap 20, we'll bolt on a fresh set of soft compound tyres again, as yeah, no one else in the top 4 is going to pit, so this is quite a big risk. Oh no, there we go, Perez. Has pit then, so he's going hards. I hadn't even thought of that. He might be able to take those hard tyres to the end of the Grand Prix then, so Perez and I now have got our work cut out this afternoon. Lando Norris is into the lead of the Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri up into P. Our team are putting on hards. I've got mediums selected. I'm not going to knock it, I suppose. If we can go to the end, we can go to the end. As we're going to be back out in P9 then, of course, because so many cars lost their wing. I don't know whether this has helped us or screwed us, but I'm taking it. Oh, whoa, okay. Safety car, very, very late, I suppose, yeah, because the final sector here is so short. Safety car in then at the end of this lap, and I'm wondering whether this is really throwing a spanner in the works for a lot of cars at the front that haven't pit, because I'm pretty certain now every car from Perez downwards is going to try and attempt to go to the flag then. Lando Norris will lead the way out of the final corner. The way I see it, we're in a net P2 then, behind Sergio here, as we've got to try and get some heat into those rear tyres, but yeah, the top runners are basically going to have to bolt, because they're going to really get screwed over when they do pit in just a few laps' time. So like I said, I think everyone else wants to go to the flag. Perez braking very, very early there into the hairpin. I think afraid of going into the back of Yuki Tsunoda in front of him. Can we try and get a good run then on the Mexican, try and really capitalise off this safety car restart? Haven't seen much of Sergio early on this afternoon, but yeah, this race has really shaken things up with that safety car. Are we going to be able to get a run out of Spoon? Quite as good as I would have wanted there, but we're still hanging pretty close to the Red Bull. Just got to be careful of any lifting going on down in through 130R. And look at that, he has just blended the throttle slightly to the outside of Sergio Perez. There he's going to try and give me a big old squeeze. We lock up the tyre. We still try and get a bit of a switch on him. Whoa, there's contact. Daniel Ricciardo there trying to get involved in it, potentially sensing an opportunity for a last Formula 1 victory, and now the Australian is going to get the run on me back down towards him, and we're going to have to completely drain the battery back down towards the first corner there. And well, Audi straight line speed, it might not be consistent horsepower, but I tell you what, when we've got it, it is a lot of them. Sergio Perez there, bit of a moment as we head down in through Spoon, so we're going to have a look to the inside so we can get towards 130. Oh, and we do just about force our way through there on the Mexican. A little bit aggressive, a little bit sketchy, but we did make it work there. It does take 2 to tango, and as we start lap 11, we are now potentially into the net lead of this race. So to stop Perez trying to get a run back on me, though, as we head back down towards turn 1. He's going to have a look to the inside. Are we going to see Sergio Perez get there? No. Lifts out of it. Thank you very much. Well, end of lap 12 then. Wondering if I'm going to start seeing the AI peeling into the pit lane, but just slowly inching away from Sergio Perez there to the inside of Yuki Tsunoda, who he thought about turning in, and then I think realised that was probably going to be a bad idea. I won't lift out in that situation, Yuki. I have exactly nothing to lose in this championship. Still, the AI staying out there, though, so they've basically gone half distance on those mediums. Could they go softs to the end? I'm not convinced, but yeah, Lando Norris building up a big advantage at the front. He's got to be surely trying to still aim for points today. Oh, there we go, Lando Norris into the pit lane at the front of the field, and a handful of other cars joining him there. Oscar Piastri will now lead, I think, for the first time, a Formula 1 Grand Prix. We're back up at a P4, though. We've got more yellow flags at the rear of the field. I think one of the AI has just ran slightly wide down at the Degnas. Sorry, not the Degnas. The Casio Triangle. Does cause a little bit of an upset there, and Lando Norris isn't even going to get ahead of that train. He's going to re-emerge right towards the back of the field there. Remember, he was leading this race. There is a big opportunity for a lot of smaller drivers and teams here to try and score some points. We're going to see the top three peel into the pit lane then at the end of lap 14. Oscar Piastri there will go down in the record books as a Grand Prix leader, but Charles Leclerc, Esteban Ocon joined him in the pit lane at the end of that lap. We now are going to retake the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. But, yeah, how long and how well are these hard tyres going to last? I mean, looking at the tyre wear data, I think, to be honest, we might be sitting quite pretty towards the checkered flag here. 13 laps to go. I think we've just got to try and control the pace there. We've got 2.5 seconds over Perez behind. Charles is going to re-emerge right down at the rear of the field. So, I mean, looking at the bigger picture, this could be 26 points gained on both of those championship leaders. I don't want to start letting my hopes get up yet, because, I mean, we've still got 12 laps to go and the engine could go bang. But could we be getting, you know, inching our way closer and closer once more?
So we're expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes.
Well, that was not on the agenda today. Rain apparently could be on the way before the end of this one. I mean, there's about 15 minutes left of racing. Could we get one final twist in the Japanese GP tail?
Okay, be careful. We think you're going to start losing some tyre grip anytime now.
Okay, well, apparently his team's starting to get a little bit worried about the tyres, despite the fact they're on 30-odd% wear. To be honest, last few laps I've actually been watching the mini-map like a hawk, because unless my maths has failed me, I'm pretty certain both Aston Martins are in the points. Now, they're the only team yet to score this season. They really have just been absolute, like, beyond backmarkers, constantly like a second off anyone else in pace. Could we see them perform a bit of a miracle here? Of course, because of that roadblock and everyone in front of them losing their front wings, the Aston Martins made it through. I'm pretty certain they still stopped at the same time. But, yeah, I don't know which one of them's in 9th, which one of them's in 10th. But whoever's in 10th is having to absolutely defend for their life.
ETA about 15 minutes.
Well, apparently that rain is still 15 minutes away. 6 laps to go here from Suzuka. Track is definitely getting more, or the sky even is getting more and more overcast, but yeah, I think we might be able to make it to the end.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
Well, if 5 minutes takes that little amount of time on F122, it's going to be raining by about 130R. Oh no, I've noticed as well on the mini-map one of the Aston Martins has been jumped by, I think that's Lando Norris. So Lando Norris now might be trying to push them out of the points. Might be that they can only get 10th place here. But yeah, Lando, of course, he needs to try and score as many points as he can to try and close up on Charles in the World Championship. It looks like it's going to be a handful of points between them this weekend. Unless something crazy happens, we are still the one with the best opportunity. Final lap then, here from Suzuka. It certainly has been a very, very good race for us. I'm pretty certain my last 5 laps have all been within 0.2 of each other. The consistency late on this afternoon has been second to none. And, you know, the likes of Perez, very, very good drivers, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that Red Bull is up to speed, you know, to keep up with us over a race distance there. Daniel Ricciardo, he's been the big surprise, has really dropped back a lot over the course of the afternoon there. Bottas, though, unable to find a way around in the AI, really do struggle to race with each other around this circuit there. But I think Bottas is, I don't know if he's trying something or not on this final lap. But for us, it really has fallen into place today. Lando Norris looks like he's going to come through for, I think, P9. Charles Leclerc not going to even score any points there, so it's going to bring the gap back down at the top of the championship to 7 points. But if we're going to walk away with the full 26, we're not going to be a million miles away once more. Yes, it's still going to require a miracle in the final 5 races, and no, I'm still not really trying to think about it all too much, but it is difficult when you get a weekend like this. You just start to wonder, could something still be possible here? Could we defend our World Championship crown? Down in towards the final couple of corners though, here at Suzuka. Back-to-back race victories after we've left Europe. It was a dominant display last weekend in Singapore. The strategy did kind of fall into place for us today. It really did isolate 2 of our biggest threats, but out of the final corner, it's going to be victory here in Japan. Get in there.
Oh, did I win? Or did I win? Woo-hoo! Come on! Absolutely awesome. Just amazing, mate. Well done.
Can't fault the performance on the track today. A well-deserved victory. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One. So let's review the drivers' standings. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Well, Lance Stroll would be my pick. He managed to keep a cool head today whilst pushing through the field.
Let's move on to the constructors. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from Red Bull this time out, and they improved their position in the championship. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Japanese Grand Prix. We didn't even get fastest lap at the end. Lando Norris took that off me on the final lap there, and even Sergio Perez managed to go faster. Goes to show that Red Bull did have some decent pace there, but certainly not enough over a race in there. But we take another victory ahead of Checo there. Daniel Ricciardo just beats out Bottas for that final place on the podium. Maybe the last time we ever see the Australian on the rostrum here on F122. Zhou Guanyu in 5th ahead of Stroll, Gasly, Daruvala, Norris, and yep, Kevin Magnussen points for Aston Martin there. Who would have seen that coming in this season? Yuri Vip's the only car not to make it to the checkered flag. AlphaTauri, heartbreak for them. From looking really, really good early on in the race there, they got completely screwed by the strategy. 19th and 20th there. Means championship-wise, 47 back as we head in towards the final 5 there. Lando Norris, 8 points behind Charlie Boy still. It is all to play for between the pair of them. We've now got a 100-point lead over Esteban Ocon, who is just 2 ahead of Bottas, 3 ahead of Daniel Ricciardo there, and 6 ahead of Sergio Perez. So yeah, the fight for best of the rest is still absolutely on. Really, both McLarens, both Red Bulls, and the Australian there. Further down the rostrum, yep, Magnussen, first points of the year for him. Re-jumps Dan Ticktum in the championship there. Pourchaire ahead of Robert Schwartzman as well. So I think Aston Martin somehow now are ahead of Alfa Romeo there in the championship. I'm not quite sure how they've done it, but they have apparently. Yeah, Alfa Romeo were a team to watch at the start of the year, and somehow they're still going to finish in last place there. Red Bull re-jump McLaren in the battle for P3 as well. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we'll be back very, very soon when Formula 1 heads to COTA next weekend for the US Grand Prix. 5 races to go, 47 points. I want to believe, but I know I shouldn't.
None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.